We all have our challenges in life. We have our necessities and our dreams, and we usually have to fight and work hard for them. However, while many times we get upset and frustrated for not being able to fulfill our most exotic aspirations, millions of people around the world are only trying to survive another day. Hello, my name is Felipe, but I wish it was Bill Gates. Not because I wanted to have a Windows that actually works, but because I wish I had the opportunity to positively transform the life of those who live in a constant stage of sad and misery. Before explaining how I would do that, I'll tell you first a little bit about the life of so many people in Brazil who did not have the lucky I had to be born to a middle class and well-structured family. Let me start by describing the sad reality I saw day after day in the streets of Fortaleza, the city where I'm from in Brazil. In Fortaleza, if you're not lucky enough to be a member of a wealthy or middle class family, most likely you have to work since you're a kid in order to help your parents just to buy the food you need and your family need. Because there is so much poverty and a lack of jobs that pay decently for those with no education, many adults turn into alcoholics in order just to forget their daily misery. Unfortunately, alcoholism destroys their families, making their lives even harder, and this problem is also generally associated with violence inside and outside their family lives. The kids then are many times thrown into the streets in order to beg people for money at the stoplights. In the street, these kids don't have access to education and usually take their first steps towards becoming criminals or homeless. And the worst is that this unfortunate cycle tends to repeat itself over the next generations. If for one day I had the money and the connections Mr. Bill Gates has, I'll not make it that the best day of my life, but of the lives of those who maybe had never had a single happy day themselves. First, I have to say that I would not buy an island or an airplane with Mr. Gates' money. However, I would probably change my '96 Mercury Sable for something a little better. All jokes aside, my money would actually go to help those who barely have what to eat. I would give enough money for the poor families so the kids could leave the streets and start getting an excellent education. And I would donate enough money to build schools, especially created to help these kids in the transitions from the streets to the academic world. Finally, I would provide Mr. Felipe, myself, with full access to Mr. Gates' bank account's passwords, so when those 24 hours were over, I would still have the chance to make sure this better reality would last for more than just one day. Every time I remember those poor kids in the street of Brazil begging for loose change, I remind myself to be grateful for being who I am. But being grateful is not enough. We should never forget that while our lives are not perfect, there are many more people out there who would give everything just to have for one day the lives that we do. So if for 24 hours I had the chance to be Bill Gates, I'd use that time to fulfill not my extravagant dreams, but to give those who live in poverty the opportunity to become dreams again. Well, today I told you a little bit about what I consider to be the most important things in our lives, which is to remind ourselves that we should try to help those who can help themselves. This is something I believe since I was very young and that I hope I'll never forget. Even if you're not Bill Gates, I believe the value of solidarity should be the one to guide us all. Thank you.